has been boiled, and now what I'm going to do is add saturated calcium carbonate to it. Just 1 ml of this will go in here, and that will keep the Furnish alkaline around pH 8. And the other thing I'm going to add to it is the retention agent, and that will get any color that leaked into the water phase will reattach to the fiber, right? So that will do that next. All right, so this is the retention agent I use. It's from the Carriage House in Brooklyn, New York. And you add, you know, a couple of mils, right? And then what I'll do is process this. After I process it, I would use Formation Aid. And Formation Aid will give me a smoother Furnish to apply. And this is a 1% concentration of Furnish, right? It's going to be at the end. Now, sizing isn't needed here because inner wraps are not sized, so there is no need for sizing in this case. The paper I'm using here, the fiber I'm using, is already sized. Of course, once you wet it, it's going to lose the sizing, especially for this long. But at least we know that you don't need it for the inner wrap, so we're not going to add sizing to this. All right, guys. And now we're going to process the fiber, and there's about 60 mils of water in there altogether. And I'm using it in a blender that had the blades dulled, right? And you can use, of course, use the hydropulper or the blender, and honestly, right? It's going to get pulverized at the end anyways. So I'll process it without the noise, and I'll show you the result of the processing. And I can add Formation Aid to it right now, so it dissolves well in here. So I'll do that as well. Now I will use a little bit of water to the squeeze bottle to get the fiber that attached the sides off, right? And that looks good. So I ended up with a volume of 130 milliliters in here, which is over 100 mils, right? And I can, I guess, drain it and readjust the volume to 100, but I'm okay with that because I can do the math based on 0.01 gram per 1.3 mils. So it's a very slight adjustment, which I can account for, and I do the pipetting. And I'm going to estimate the pipetting this time based on my experience with volumes and areas and knowing what it takes to put in there, essentially. And let's see if I'm right. If I'm right, then all that pain I went through in doing the math and pipetting exact amounts, then the eye got to learn at one point how much Furnish will satisfy a certain thickness in one area, right? That would be the art part, would have caught up, so to speak, with the science part. So let's see if we can do it that way, guys, all right? So 0.01 grams per 1.3 mils is the concentration, and these are the percentages of the different papers I have in it to satisfy the 72, 5, and 24, which is the average lab value of what we want to achieve in the Batman book, right? That was the average of these areas here, right? Okay. So I'm going to start by doing a patch and then measuring the lab value of that patch and see if it matches with what we want, right? The lab value of 72, 5, and 24. formation aid really is beautiful how it works. Some here, some here. All right, we'll let this dry and then we'll come back and measure the lab value of the dried patch. Before I do that, I like always to flatten it, so let me flatten it. Here we go. Let's see what we get. So what do we have here? Look at that, huh? Pretty close color match. And I'm going to take the lab reading on the patch and see if it matches well with the centerfold. So our centerfold has a lab value of 72, 5, and 24. And the patch we made, right? Patch we made had a lab value of 70, what is it? I wrote it down, here it is. 74, 4, and 22. So this is the patch. And this is the wrap, right? The centerfold. The delta E value, to see if there is any difference. We want delta E value to be narrow this time. So we want it to be between, say, 1 and 4, right? Or 0 and 4. If it's between 0 and 4, it's acceptable and we'll use. If it is anything bigger, I'm going to reject, right? So delta E value is going to be square root of the 74 minus 72 squared plus 5 plus 4 squared plus 24 minus 22 squared. Square root of the whole thing, right? Okay, so that gives you delta E of 74 minus, that's 2 squared, that's a 4, plus 1 squared is 1, plus 2 squared is 4. So it's square root of 9, essentially, right? Which is the 3. Delta E of 3 is acceptable. We'll go with it. And we'll proceed with the leaf casting according to what we got. All right.